What's up, guys? How's it going? It's Matt here. So this is going to be my third video in the video series I started, Open Carry versus Concealed Carry. So this specific video is going to be a direct response to the haters of my last video. So here it is. So let me start out like this. Just like all my other videos, I said the same exact thing. I support open carry. I also support concealed carry. I do, however, recommend concealed carry. Now, for those of you that live in a state where the only legal way you can carry a firearm is open, rock it, all right? Do it, all right? So let's get into this video. So the one thing I do not support, I said this in my last video, and that's where it became a heated video when it comes to the comments, is I don't support the volatile open carry activists, or as I called it in my last video, the jackass-tivists, all right? In regards to yesterday's video, I am not going to change my position at all, guys, because no matter what anyone says to me, my opinion is this. I am going to 100% condemn the open carry activists that go out into anti-gun neighborhoods, anti-gun areas to create a scene so they get arrested or so they have encounters with police. If you look for trouble with a firearm, you are going to find trouble. And if you are looking for trouble with a firearm, that actually has a recipe to create a deadly situation, all right? And one thing I wanted to remind you guys, guns are tools for defense and weapons against tyranny or foreign invasion, all right? They are not conduits for anger, political rage, and ego, all right? So I'm going to throw that out there. So hate it all you want, feel free, all right? Here's a question for you guys. Why is it that in the state of California, gun owners are not allowed to carry their firearms open or concealed at the moment? Why is it? One, yes, it is a very anti-gun state, all right? There's a lot of liberals in the state. The anti-gunners outnumber the gunners, all right? That's just a fact of the state. Unfortunately, that's a fact of the state. The government officials are also anti-gun officials. So what the governor of California said back in 2012 was that one of the main reasons that they passed the bill that made it illegal to open carry a firearm is because the escalation of open carry protests forced their hand to pass the bill. Now, like I said, this is an anti-gun state. Anti-gun officials, they are looking for reasons to pass their anti-gun legislation. Now, one of the big factors in this bill being passed was that the police chiefs were putting pressure on the governor and on the government because due to the escalation of the open carry activists that were taking their rifles and pistols into coffee shops, into public places, into anti-gun neighborhoods and whatnot, their police officers on patrol were constantly getting called off of their duties to respond to man with a gun, guy with a gun, girl with a gun calls. And when they arrived there, it turned out just to be these activists trying to make a political statement with their firearm. So by responding to those calls, those police officers now couldn't respond to the real bad guy with a gun calls that they needed to respond to, all right? So the police chiefs were getting fed up with it. the public was getting fed up with it because remember, most of the public out there is anti-gun, and they were getting fed up with it. They were writing their representatives, they were talking to the representatives, and they were getting ticked about this open carry activism. So they pushed it, and then the government got their justification that they were wanting, the justification to pass the anti-gun legislation. So open carry activists in California, I feel bad for you, but at the same time, you guys shot yourself in the foot, and now the entire state has to deal with it. And the entire state got screwed because of your actions, all right? So now I want to do a few direct responses to some of the comments that I've been getting in my last video. So first one, I hear this all the time. People hear this all the time. Yes, I know that a while ago, I don't remember the exact date, the Supreme Court said that police officers, law enforcement, it is not their duty to protect and serve. I understand that. I know that was passed. I know that was their interpretation. But let me ask you a question. Now, I know police officers. I personally have relationships with several police officers. I want you to do this. I want you to go up to one of your police officers politely and ask them this. Well, first ask them if they have time so you can ask a question because they are pretty busy and they have a lot of stuff that they have to do. And if they can, then you say this, okay, are you aware that the Supreme Court said it is not your duty to protect and serve the public? They will probably say, yes, I'm aware of that. Now, the next question I want you to ask them is, so if there was a call of a violent crime or an active shooting, would you not respond to it because it is not your duty to protect and serve? Or would you drop everything you were doing and rush out there to protect and serve? See where I'm getting, guys? They understand the Supreme Court decision, but at the same time, that is not going to change their sense of duty and love of the public, all right? It's not going to, all right? So you can just drop that where it stands. Now, to another comment, which I found this one to actually be the most entertaining one. So this one guy said strictly, he said, Armed and City channel, you're an idiot. My response was, will you please elaborate? I got nothing. So then I decided to go to this person's channel and take a look. They don't post any videos, but all their like videos are pretty much the same. Someone creating a public disturbance and schooling the police officers, or talking crap to the police officers, or being assholes to police officers. So I appreciate your well thought out comment, but I'm not really going to take your opinion too seriously, all right? So now I want to talk to something else, all right? So a lot of these open carry activists, they post videos on YouTube and Facebook all the time, and it's always called encounters. Encounters this encounter, good encounter, bad encounter, and whatnot. Someone got close to my gun this time, and this time the police were really assholes to me, and this time I almost got detained, and this encounter I got away with it, and this encounter was good, and this encounter was bad. As a concealed carrier, how many encounters do you think I have come across? 0. Why is that? Because I am not looking for trouble. I said this earlier on. Guns are tools for defense and weapons against tyranny or foreign invasion, all right? They are not a means of political rage. They are not a means of anger. And just because you are a gun owner doesn't make you an expert, all right? Just because you're a gun owner doesn't make you special, all right? Most people don't really care. Honestly, most people just don't really care. Most people say, hey, I look at this. There's far left, far right, and then there's people in between that just don't really care. They want you to do whatever the hell you want to do. Most of the time, if you're carrying a gun, most people won't even notice that you're carrying a gun. I mean, even when I open carried, a lot of people would notice. And a lot of times, no one even noticed that I carried it open. Now, as a concealed carrier, I never get noticed. And I don't want to get noticed. Like in one of the comments, the guy said, well, if you go up to a person as a concealed carrier and show them that you have a gun, then they're gonna do it, and they're gonna the same reaction. I was like, you're missing the point of concealed carry. Now, let me explain this real quick. As a concealed carrier, I like the fact that I have the, what do you call it, the tactic of surprise, all right? I like the fact that people don't know I have a firearm. I don't want people to know that I have a firearm because therefore, if a situation comes, I can then counter ambush the bad guys quickly, all right? So I'm not going to walk up to someone as a concealed carrier carrying a concealed gun and say, I got a gun, because that is defeating the entire point of me carrying concealed. I like having that defense, that surprise aspect. I like having that. I don't want people to know that I have a gun, all right? Because one, I never had police encounters. I've talked to uniformed police on patrol when I helped with different accidents. There were several accidents I actually helped out with, and I was carrying my gun. Not a single one said something. Why? Because I was polite, I was respectful, I was carrying a concealed firearm, and I didn't make a big deal about it because I understand that a firearm is a tool for defense. It is not a means to prove to other people that I'm better than them, all right? So I'm just going to leave it at that one. Now, I'm going to end it with this, and I ended my last two videos with the same thing. As a gun owner, all right, you need to be vigilant, all right? You need to be respectful, all right? And you need to not look for trouble, but be ready for it if it comes. So for those of you out there who are purposely looking for trouble, you will find it, and you will be held accountable in the court of law for it, all right? So if you go down that dark alley because you're carrying a gun, and the only reason you're going down that dark alley full of crime is because, well, you're carrying a gun. If you come across a situation where you will have to defend yourself, the court can now hold you responsible because you shouldn't have been there in the first place and you made a bad decision and you were looking for a fight. You were looking for a fight. That's what they're going to say, all right? And then you become a felon, all right? And that means as a felon, you can no longer have guns, right? There it is. So that is my final say on this, guys, and those are my opinions on it. So hate me, like me, whatever it is, I'm not going to change my opinion on it. If you like this video, guys, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about me, and remember, guys, it's our responsibility to take care of each other and protect each other. Peace.